who's ready to get a little bit better? If so, comment yes right now. So every week on my mastermind calls, I open in a word of prayer, and I don't enforce my faith on anyone else, but for me, I got to start every call and just remind myself that there's something bigger than me involved in what I do every single day. And so I open the word in prayer, and I always pray something similar at the end of it. And I say, God, help us to make the world a better place. There's a lot of like, hey, help us to challenge, encourage, inspire each other, and then help us to go out there and make this world a better place. And I say, amen. And so this thought of how do we make the world a better place? Now, as I was processing what I want to share with you today, I was like, here's how it works for me. Sometimes I get the answer before I have the question clear. And so I was like, okay, what's the question that I'm answering with what I'm getting ready to share with you? And here's where it comes from. Because in our world today, there are a lot of people who, if you ask them, hey, how you doing? They're going to say, I'm good, I'm fine, how are you? But we don't know what's behind the I'm good, I'm fine. My pastor said this years ago, he still says it all the time, but you don't know what it costs to be someone else. That's writer downable. You don't know what it costs to be someone else. So we don't know what's behind those smiles and I'm fine, because there are a lot of hurting, desperate, scared people. Somebody on one of my mastermind calls, because we had this conversation, there's people in anguish, and they're covering it up with smiles, and they're hopeless, and they're overwhelmed, and they're stressed out, and they're in pain. And there's a lot of those people. And so, if I was going to frame the question that I'm answering, it's really, what do we have to give to people who are desperate, but they're not telling us that they're desperate and hurting and scared on the inside? They're just smiling at us and saying, I'm fine. Well, that's a little bit harder to put on the screen. So here's the question we're going to answer. How do we make the world a better place? Because here's what I would say. If you're watching this video with me, you're freaking amazing, okay? You're not normal because you are committed to becoming the best version of yourself. And you've got some tools. You've got some resources within you, within the community that you're a part of. You've been doing some work like other people haven't been doing some work. And so I'm not disregarding that some of you today might feel hurt on the inside and you've been covering it up with smiles. But I'm going to go today with the fact that you have more to give than you realize. And I'm going to remind you that the people out there, the people you're interacting with, whether it's friends or family or coworkers or neighbors or people at the grocery store, they need what you have to give. And so today is not about, well, I don't know, it's about you getting better. It is. But it's more about what you and I have to give to everybody else. So I'm going to give you 5 things. And I just want you to register in your mind. Try and pick it out as we're going here. Which one of these 5 things do you need to give more of this week? Like starting today. Like as soon as you get off this video. Like which one do you need to give more of? So 5 things that we can give more of to make this world a better place. Number 1, you could give more grace. Woohoo! Like grace. What is grace? Someone asked me that. What's grace? Grace is giving someone something they don't deserve. Like mercy is you're not giving them what they do deserve. So like my son deserved to be grounded for life, but I didn't give him that because I'm merciful. See, I'm merciful. But grace is he did something wrong and I'm going to give him something not because he deserves it, but because I love him. Because I can. Because I want to give a free gift that he didn't earn it, he didn't deserve it, he didn't merit it. That's what grace is. And so in a world where there is division and strife and pain and judgmental and all this stuff going on, I don't care what you're talking about, there's a whole lot of division in the world. What if instead of jumping to, oh, they didn't care, or they meant to hurt me, or they're just out to get me, or they hate me, or they're judging me, what if instead you gave grace? What if instead of judgment, you gave grace? What if you gave love? What if you gave forgiveness? What if you gave more grace? What if every room you walked into, instead of judging or separating, you said, I'm just going to give them grace. Number 1, give grace. Number 2, give joy. Woo! I love Brendan Burchard, his book, High Performance Habits. I highly recommend it. In it, he talks about a door trigger. Every time he walks through a door frame, he has a mantra. And his mantra is, I bring the joy. Bring the joy. Listen, there's joy on the inside of you. You need to give it away. People need the joy on the inside of you. That could be as practical as playing more with your kids, telling more jokes, being funny, making people laugh a little bit more. It could be, you know what, even in a hard circumstance, finding something to be grateful for. So bring more joy, give more joy. Number 3, give encouragement. Even better, give unsolicited encouragement. You know how to celebrate wins. Like, you know how to find the win. Some people don't know how to do that, and they need you to find it for them. Like, find them making progress. Say, hey, do you remember where you were? You're not there anymore. Look where you're at today. You made progress. Woo! Like, give encouragement. Find your kids getting it right. Find someone else getting it right. Like, tell the grocery store, you have a great smile. Like, you would not imagine the difference your words make if you made a decision to say, I'm going to give more encouragement. Number 4, give hope. There's a whole lot of hopelessness in the world, and people don't know if it's going to work out. Listen, don't give people lies. Don't say everything's going to be just fine. You don't know that. You don't know if it's going to work out. For me, my hope's in Jesus, because this whole world's going to shake and fall to nothing, but I've got a firm foundation, a rock in my life that is immovable, unshakable, okay? So that's I try to give Jesus to people because that's a hope that doesn't disappoint. Now, for you, if that's not your thing, you can still give hope by saying, you know what? I can't tell you it's all going to work out, but I can tell you I'll be there to walk by your side. I'm going to support you. I'm going to love you. You know what? Somehow good is going to come out of that. I believe that firmly. That's a firm conviction that life's happening for me, not to me. So I can give somebody that hope and say, hey, somehow good can come out of this. I know it sucks. I know it hurts. I know it's painful, but there is hope that somehow good can come out of it if you choose to see that. And lastly, the last thing I'll tell you to give, this is a good one. And I'm going to say to give space. How many, if you're an extrovert, just do a little hand raise in the comments right now. If you're an extrovert, if you don't know if you're an extrovert, it's when you talk too much and you fill space and you're very uncomfortable with silence, okay? We get fed, we get our tank filled by being around other people and usually by talking and interacting with people, right? So this one's a little extra hard for the other extroverts like myself in the room. It's a little extra hard for us, but giving space for people to be honest, for them to be real, to tell them it's okay to not be okay. You don't have to have it all together. You don't have to act like it's easy. You don't have to act like you have, it's okay. I'm just going to give you space. And so sometimes, I'll say this to you, silence creates space. So that's why I said sometimes we've got to hold our tongue when someone's talking to us and we want to give them the answer that's already in our head. We got a 5-step process. Sometimes they don't need that. They just need space. They just need to hear them. And sometimes that's through silence. Sometimes you can give someone space, you kind of know, you're like, well, if they would just do this, don't give it to them. Give them space by asking a question. Hey, have you ever thought about this? Or is there a different way that maybe you could think about it? Ask them a question. Well, what's the outcome you're going after? Depending on how close you are, you can be a little sarcastic and be like, so how's that serving you? Thinking that way, how's that serving you, right? Give them space to find the answer on the moment. Sometimes giving space means giving them a shoulder to cry on, giving them a hug and not having to say a word. But giving people space is one of the greatest gifts that we can give the world right now. So how do you make the world a better place? You can give grace, you can give joy, you can give encouragement, you can give hope, and you can give space. Every single one of you watching this video right now, you can give all those things. It's up to you. You can go out there and make the world a better place. But you have to set the intention. And we've got to realize we have a responsibility to step up and to give more. I don't think anybody watching this video would argue any of those things, that the world could use more of all those things. But will you take the challenge? Will you take it upon yourself to give more of at least one of those things this week? I'd love it. I would love it if you drop it in the comments and tell us. I mean, I'm not going to hold you accountable. I'm not going to call you up. You're making a commitment to yourself right now by dropping it in the comments. Which one of those are you going to give more of this week? Grace? Are you going to give encouragement? Are you going to give hope? Are you going to give space? Are you going to give, what's the one I missed? Joy. Are you going to give joy? Which one are you going to give? Drop it in the comments right now, because if you do, I fully believe you're going to help make the world a better place, one person at a time. This week, this is where you should get off this video right now and start right now with this moment. Go out there and give your greatness to the world, because somebody needs what's on the inside of you. I love you all. Have a great week. I'll see you soon.